Okay. You need to find this lab that we started last week, and you may want to pause it while you look for that, and then go to the last page. Because what we're going to do is work through a real chemical problem using what we learned in the lab. So it says here that if we were to add a piece of solid copper to an aqueous solution of silver nitrate, the silver would be replaced in a single replacement reaction, forming aqueous copper 2 nitrate and solid silver. How much silver is produced if 15 grams of copper is added to the solution of excess silver nitrate? Show all work, and don't forget to use, don't worry about that part. Okay, so step 1, just like we did with the s'mores, we need a balanced equation. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Now, you guys have done this. All you're doing is translating it from words into formula. So it says a solid piece of copper to an aqueous solution of silver nitrate. So you would use your ion sheet, and we find out that that's what the reactants are. Then it says would be replaced in a single replacement reaction, forming copper 2 nitrate. Remember, the 2 means plus 2, and nitrate is -1, so we have to do that. And they tell us that's aqueous, and solid silver. So Ag, solid. All right. Now what it needs to do, it has to be balanced. So to balance this out, I put a 2 here and a 2 there. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is we have to convert our given, which in this case is our 15 grams of copper. I'm going to put that right underneath the copper. We need to convert it to moles, okay? Now, where did that come in the lab? Well, that was right here. When you were told how many grams of marshmallows you were given, you needed to figure out how many marshmallows you had. So you divided by the molar mass of a marshmallow. That is a mole conversion. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our 15 grams of copper, divide it by the molar mass of copper, which is 64. And that's going to give us the moles. So I take 15 divided by 64, and I get 0.234 moles of copper. Okay? So, again, that's just like you figuring out the number of marshmallows. Okay? It's just that we have a really small amount of copper. Then what we need to do is convert moles of copper to moles of silver. All right? Now, you did this in the lab as well. That's when, once we knew the number of marshmallows, okay, you used information from the equation to figure out how many graham crackers. Now, that information you used was that in the balanced equation, it said that it took 2 graham crackers for every marshmallow to make a s'more. Okay? So what you did was you took 64 marshmallows times 2 graham crackers, and we made a ratio, though. For every 2 graham crackers, there's 1 marshmallow. All right? That came from your balanced equation. Well, we're going to do the same thing here, except now we're going to use this balanced equation. So, we're going to take our moles of copper, 0.234 moles, and we're going to multiply it by a ratio that comes from this equation. Now, what they ask for is how much silver, okay, is produced. So that's right here. I'm going to put a question mark next to it. Now, when you go to set up your ratios from your balanced equation, it's always the coefficient of the question mark, which in this case is 2, and that's silver, over whatever your given was. And the coefficient for that is 1. Okay, so one more time. The 2 silvers comes from here, and the 1 copper comes from here. Okay? Well, the reason why we do that, copper divides out. So we end up with 0.234 times 2, which is 0.468 moles. But now it's silver. So it's just like going from marshmallows to graham crackers. It's just that now what it says is that for every 0.234 moles of copper, you're going to get 0.468 moles of silver. Okay? Now, the next thing that we need to do is convert that moles of silver to grams, because that's what we deal with more in the lab. So if you remember, going from moles to grams, we multiply by the molar mass. And the molar mass of silver is 107, I think. No, it's 108. 108 grams per mole. So 0.468 times 108. We get 50.5 grams of silver. So that's how much we made from 15 grams of copper. Okay? So it's just like saying with the 454 grams of marshmallows, we could make 64, we could make 64 s'mores with 128 graham crackers. Okay? All right, now the next part they do is just kind of for fun, because it says if silver metal sells, this is supposed to be sells at $4.50 per ounce, could you get rich from this lab? Okay, now the first thing we have to do is convert our grams, which is 50.5 grams of silver, to ounces. So we're going to multiply by 0.0353 ounces per gram. Times 0.0353, and we end up with 1.78. Okay, that's ounces. And then it's 450 times 450 per ounce. I don't think we're going to get rich off of this. 0.78 times 450. Yeah, that's a whole $8. Okay? So, you're not going to get rich off of doing this, all right? But, you know, I guess $8 is better than nothing. All right? So this right here is a stoichiometry problem.